One More Night in Panic, a survival genre, 2-page roleplay. Now, 2-page roleplay is exactly what it advertises. Page 1 is basically your player. I'm going to be Red Dog. I'm a survivalist. My colorful nickname is Red Dog. I'm going to start the game as destined. That means I'm going to roll 1, plus 1 to each of my dice. Select from the 4 classes. I'm going to select a biker. And then after that, I know that if I do any single-minded killing, a biker is going to roll 2d6 and take the higher. All others would roll a single d6, except the wingnut, which would roll 2d6 and take the lower. If I decide to spaz out instead, as a biker, I'm going to be other and roll a d6. I'm not a doomsday prepper. And if I decide to do anything in a situation, well, that's going to put me at a negative in that I'm going to be a biker rolling 2d6 and taking the lower. It's also a referee page, which basically tells you simply you're going to craft the mission, and here's some guidelines. You're going to declare the roles as either single-minded, killing, spaz out, or do anything. Tough times, and each meal requires significant effort to acquire. Welcome to the apocalypse. You move past the shock of the end times, you survive to build acumen, you resolve each situation to reach the story's climactic ending. These tables aid doing that on the fly, and I have 3 tables here where you can start as a hope-shattering start in your story, and then when you get a point of investigate, you can move on to the high-endurance middle, which eventually will send you to the climax, or it'll send you through a series of obstacles that you're going to have to overcome, and eventually you're going to then resolve the climax to end the story. I'm going to be mostly on this page. That and, well, I was sitting in class using my GI Bill. I had the option to stay in the reserves, but I just decided to separate fully. I didn't want anything more to do with the military. But if I'd known what class was like, I might have stayed around. This stuff was just mind-numbingly dumb. What was this? Economics? French class? Well, the pretty girls were nice to look at least from the rear. Suddenly there was an alarm going off on campus. I couldn't tell if it was a klaxon or a fire drill or some sort of air raid warning had been activated. For all I knew, the fraternities were just having some zoo rush. I stepped out in the hallway, and there were people that were either enacting a mock active shooter drill, or there actually was some sort of emergency. I tried to talk to some of them, but they seemed dazed and out of it. I tried to stop an administrator, but he had no time for me. You know, I started to reach in my wallet and try to pull out my military ID, but, you know, they weren't going to listen to that. This place was just going crazy, and it was going crazy quick. Now, at this point, do I need to roll any dice yet? Not really. It's all exposition. And the same thing would be true with the game. If the players are going back and forth with their banter, if the GM is describing each scene, and then he's going to describe what to do, and then each of the players is going to describe what to do in his action to satisfy himself, the other players, and the streaming audience. In this case, we could have something where we desperately want to talk and communicate with some of these people, but no, I'm playing a biker. I don't want anything to do with these people. In fact, I have only 2 things on my mind. First is to get out of Dodge, and whatever's happening here, I don't trust the authorities are going to handle it well. And I saw an ROTC guy, and I quickly grabbed him by arm. I said, you guys have any weapons at your armory? And he mumbled something about, yeah, we use them for drill. Do they fire? Yeah, we take them out to practice. We still have to qualify. That's when I flashed my military ID and said, son, take me to your armory. Now, when I get to the armory, it's obviously going to be locked. So this is probably where I'll make my first roll of the game. Do I spaz out and try to break that lock? Do I do some single-minded killing on the rock? Yeah, single-minded killing on the lock is what I'm going to do. But I'm going to start with a little disadvantage here. Now, I probably, as a biker on campus, was probably cheating, and I had a 32 down in my sock. And yeah, I'll say that. I had a 32 down in my sock. You know, this is a survivalist game. Why wouldn't I have a 32 down in my sock? I also had a big buck knife in my fanny pack. And I had some snacks, of course, in my backpack, along with my books. Or all those things electronic now. Been a long time since I've been in college. Not long enough, obviously. Let me roll on this table. Now I'm going to roll 2 dice and take the better. Here comes my 2 dice. 5 and a 3. Now I am destined, so I add 1 to the dice. So that's a 6 and a 3. A 6 is guns. I got 1. Defeat the belligerent, nuclear spawn, or end deprivation, else restore destined. Well, I already have my destined, so I don't have to restore that. End deprivation. Whenever something happens in this survival game that means that you have an extra thing you need to take care of, it's universally called depredation. Now, I don't have deprivation at this moment except to get past this damn lock. So if I can't get it open with the 32 or I can't break it with the heel of my knife, well, those hinges are going to come off. So, yes, that 6 roll will be I defeated that belligerent and I ended that deprivation of I can deprive of getting to the other side where there are better guns. I was happy to see these guys were kitted out pretty well. A few of them were asking me what we should do, and I said, arm up. There's no solution that can't be solved. Quick decision to arm up. The weapons were probably more of a Vietnam era vintage, but that was okay. As long as they had the ammo for them. I strung one across my back, and I led the kids out. There's only a couple of choices to go. The campus looks like it was in lockdown, and there was other things going on. I was hearing sporadic shots. This was not going to be good. Was it some sort of terrorist act? Was it some nutcase kid? You know, they always are letting these foreign exchange kids in here, and who knows what's going on with their mind when they taste a little bit of good old American freedom. I headed into the storm tunnels. Now, some of these older campuses have all sorts of steam tunnels constantly undermining them. Who knows what they once did? Do they really need steam sent all the way around the campus? Well, when I was taking a chemistry class, a lab, there was actually steam valves right in the classroom. So yeah, maybe they used to heat the whole place with some sort of underground steam piping, or just, you know, floor radiators in most of the classrooms. We went down into the steam tunnels. The entrances actually weren't locked that good. A lot of kids like to come down here and play Dungeons and Dragons. It's amazing, but, you know, I hope I didn't run into them around some corner. Yeah, bad enough me facing some guy with a rubber sword. I walked down the tunnels. It looks like you could get lost pretty easy. I asked some of the guys I was with, hey, you know where you're going? I mean, has anyone been in here before? You know, one guy sheepishly raised his hand. He said, around this next corner is where I keep our beer. You keep beer in a non-fridge situation? Well, welcome back to Fallujah. Show me where it is. After we grabbed a few beers and the mood started lighting, I let him on. Now, do I need a roll for that to lead him on? It could be a spaz out roll looking for critical insight to figure out what's going on. It could be a do something anything roll looking for that critical deed in order to accomplish the next objective. But I'm going to try to keep this short. Now, if you're playing with a group that likes lots of dice rolls, add lots of dice rolls. If you're playing with a group that can use the banter alone to go back and forth between GM and the party and between different party members, enjoying the dialogue and enjoying telling the story, you know, to each his own. That did not look promising. Nobody in their right mind should ever have a head that's pointing at that angle on their shoulders. This thing was also a little bit more shabby than most. Now, my first assumption would probably be the correct one, but it would also be the insane one. That, sir, is a zombie. Now, it could be, if I was thinking rationally, just some kid that's, stoned out of his gourd, or it could be some sort of prop from the musical that they were running in the campus theater group, or it could be something that was left here as a scary item from last Halloween. Nope, I'm not going to take a chance. That, sir, is a zombie. I opened fire. Let's get back to this table. Single-minded killing. I'm playing a biker. Let me roll 2 dice here and see if I can do some single-minded killing. A 3 and a 3. It's not a good roll. A 3 and a 3 is a destined roll. It becomes a 4. Now, a 4 is my fists. I get up there, and I was originally going to shoot the thing, but I thought, well, just in case it was alive and I'm a little bit flashing back here or suffering from some PTSD, I decided I would just go up and with the butt of my rifle hit it on the back of its leg and see if I can knock it down. Unfortunately, it fell down and it got right back up. It didn't even moan, and once it turned around to face me, oh my God, the breath this thing was emitting. It was worse than some of the locals I've run into. Alright, I didn't kill it on the first one, but I'm now going to treat, since I can't defeat a belligerent, I'm going to use that roll of a 4 fist to gain a modifier to treat any further roll as a 4 of a 6. So let me roll on that. 2 dice. I raised my rifle up after I took a few steps back, and I fired. 4 and 4. A 4 plus 4 is a 5. A 5 is knives. The zombie grabbed the gun and wrestled it from my hand, blocking my aim. Some of the guys behind me were raising a rifle, but I called them off. I did not want them to do friendly fire on me. I pulled my buck knife out, stabbed the thing repeatedly, a dozen times. But then I realized I'm dealing with zombie. I cut the head clean off. Ooh, I missed my calling. So, with knives, I can defeat a belligerent or a nuclear spawn. And zombies would be considered some sort of a natural nuclear spawn, you know, within the boundaries of the game terms. It doesn't need to be Godzilla. Although, by this table, if you want to be literal, you can kill Godzilla with your knife. No, I wouldn't do that. Now, I can also gain a modifier to treat any future roll of a 5 as a 6, but I need to get past the zombie, so I'm going to keep my treat any roll as a 4 as a 6, and I'm going to keep my any attack here on nuclear spawn and just kill the thing. Let me rephrase that so I don't confuse anyone. I am treating any roll of a 4 as a 6, but that only is going to last this scene, this part of the action. If I was going to have a longer, monster rumble right now, and I might go into that. If you have a group that, wants to see figures come out and wants to see some sort of representation of now, yeah, we're going to go in and we're going to take the bleacher section and we're going to fire down on them. You might have a continuing modifiers that go in, but I'm just going to run these scene by scene, which is probably more natural. Now, between the scenes that I'm running here, like after I defeated this guy, which I just did, I killed a nuclear spawn, I could go over to my ref page here and I could roll a d6, and that d6 solo might mean 3 would be overcome deprivation, then roll again. And that deprivation would just be, it's an obstacle. It's just something that's preventing you. If I was in a survival setting where I'm in a river about to go over a fall, it's pretty obvious what my deprivation is. If I had just gotten wet and I was outside in the cold, it's trying to fight hypothermia. If you're in a more fantastic sense or some monster-generated sense, which is what we do a lot more when we role play, that deprivation may be some sort of attack that we have to suffer. But here I think it's going to go basically in the fact that the hallway on the other side is locked again, and the path forward, we look out the window, wow, there's a lot of undead out there. Now, about this time, my friends were starting to freak out a little bit, but I tried to calm them down. We were ready. We had the means and we had the resilience. Maybe not to face the fast ones, but if we just managed to, I think that's from Zombieland. I think it's from Zombieland. If we just had the resilience, we could hold on here. Now I'm gonna fight 2d6 zombies, and we're gonna count them off together. This may take 5 minutes, but let's see how long it takes me to kill 2d6 zombies. Okay, here comes my zombies. 6. I gotta kill 6 zombies. Now, I did not have that belligerent, that fist advantage of gaining a modifier. But I'm gonna roll, hopefully 6 times, and 6 times in a row I'm gonna kill these zombies. Let's get them done. First one was coming at me. I could take it from across the field. Especially that one that was running after the pretty girl in the pink sweater. and I just rolled a 6 and a 2. A 6 is going to be guns. I have a gun. I defeat a belligerent, and I'm just going to treat these guys as belligerents now, not as nuclear spawn. Or do I want to make it hard on myself? Yeah, I'll treat them all as nuclear spawn. I set the precedence. The first one you fight might have just been, because of the surprise shock, the newness of the situation, it might be treated as nuclear spawn. Maybe it was a sub-boss like you have in many of the video games. But here I'm just going to treat them then, be consistent. I could then treat all the ones after that as belligerent, but I'll try to be consistent and make them all nuclear spawn. Boom! One of them went down. That's actually a roll of 7. I'm still destined. Another one came up on me. My friends were starting to fire. They were missing. I told them, you need to shoot the head. Come on. Know your basic cannon. 2 dice. A 3 and a 3. A 3 and 3 becomes a 4 because I'm adding 1, so I'm going to treat rolls of 4 as 6. I got the guys down in formation, a couple of guys kneeling, a couple of guys in the rear, making sure that if any gun jam, we had at least one person playing tech. 1 and 3, it's going to be a 4, but what up? I'm treating 4s as 6s, so that's 2 I've killed. Let's see if I can get that third one. I fired, I needed ammo. I could take the guy's gun next to me, but I decided instead that I could gut out the guy that was close on me with my knife. 4 and a 4. Plus 1 is a 5. Knives. I defeat a nuclear spawn with my knife. Or I could take the modifier and treat a 5 as 6. That would only really be important if I jump to another table. Because here, I can defeat nuclear spawn with my knife. Killed 3. One of the guys in the back, he was starting to panic. He handed me his rifle and he said, I'll play catch-up. Yeah, you play catch-up. That's okay, son. You just stay behind me. There's a place and time for everyone in this sun, under this sun. And here comes that 5. 5 becomes a 1 as a 6. That's 4 I've killed. A couple more shots and I could clear the street and we could move on. 1 and a 4. Plus 1 because I'm destined becomes a 5. 5 I'm dead. The last one. I told all the guys, just pour it on. If you have to empty your clips, empty your clips. I saw a car over against the way we could all fit in. Some minivan. Not sure what happened to the person that owned it. Didn't care at this point. We were entering the apocalypse. And that 4 and a 6 means I have defeated again. And we defeated 6 of these monsters in a row in a matter of a couple of minutes. That's another feature of a game like this when you're playing Theater of the Mind. You want to encourage your players to elaborate, to a certain contentment. And yet you're not going to spend the rest of the evening. In many games, if we had reached this point, and forgive the sales pitch, but I'm really excited about products like this. If we had reached this point in another game system, it could come to a grinding, crashing halt. And I don't want to mention a certain Chaosium game where horror is just absolutely impossible to run by its mechanics, but, fill in the blank. Alright, let's see if we can get to the end of this quest. Sorry, little girl in the pink sweater. Everyone was giving me high fives and congratulating me. I was squinting, doing my best Clint Eastwood. I handed the guns back. I told one of the kids, especially the one that was panicked a little bit, just clean that guy. Just clean that guy, get him ready. Follow your training, clean that guy. I was bid. Well, I could either separate from these kids before it got bad, or I could just do what I knew I'm stuttering because I'm feeling the emotion of it. I could just do what I know I need to do. A one-armed man is better than life serving some nitwit of a corporate boomer. If I had actually finished my degree, the apocalypse was calling. More later.